She used to believe love meant forever, until the day forever drove away without her. Left on the side of the road, Willow waited, ears perked, tail wagging, certain they would come back. But as the hours turned to days and hunger gnawed at her ribs, she realized the truth. She had been abandoned. Cold, starving, and afraid, she learned to survive in the shadows, until a gentle voice in a dark alley offered something she had long forgotten: hope. Willow had once known love. She could almost remember it. A warm hand stroking her fur, the sound of a gentle voice, the comfort of a cozy bed. Those memories were distant, buried under months of hunger, fear, and the bitter cold of the streets. She had been abandoned. She didn't know why, but one day the car door had opened. Her owner had called her name. Wagging her tail, she had stepped out, expecting a game, a walk, or a treat, but the door had slammed shut. The engine had roared to life, and the car had sped away, leaving her standing there, confused and alone. She had waited for hours, maybe days, but no one came back. Hunger gnawed at her belly, and the cold seeped into her bones. She wandered the streets, searching for scraps, avoiding humans who yelled at her, and dodging cars that sped too fast. Willow was a fighter, but she was also tired. Her ribs jutted out beneath her matted fur. Her paws were raw and bleeding from walking endless miles on unforgiving pavement. The only kindness she had known came from the occasional stranger who tossed her a piece of bread or whispered soft words before walking away. But kindness wouldn't keep her alive, and winter was coming fast. The alley behind the diner smelled like old grease and rotting food, but to Willow, it was a feast. She rummaged through the trash, her tail tucked low, ears flicking at every sound. She had learned to be quick. Other strays fought for food, and she wasn't strong enough to win. "Hey, you!" The voice was soft but firm. Willow froze, her body tense. A woman knelt a few feet away, her hands outstretched. She had kind eyes, the color of warm chocolate, and her breath came out in misty puffs in the cold air. "Are you hungry?" Willow's stomach clenched painfully. She eyed the sandwich in the woman's hand, but she didn't move. She had trusted humans before. It had only led to pain. The woman didn't rush her. She set the sandwich on the ground and backed away. "It's okay," she murmured. "You don't have to come to me, just eat." Willow waited. When the woman didn't lunge or try to grab her, she inched forward, sniffing the food. It smelled real, good. She gulped it down in 3 bites, her tail wagging just slightly before she caught herself. "Good girl," the woman whispered. "I'll be back." Willow watched her leave, the warmth in her voice lingering like a distant memory. The woman, her name was Emma, came back every day. She never forced Willow to come close, never tried to touch her. She simply sat on the cold pavement and talked to her. Willow liked her voice. It was soft, patient, safe. Each day, the food got closer. Each day, Willow took a step toward her. One night, the temperature dropped dangerously low. Willow's thin fur wasn't enough to keep her warm. She curled up behind a dumpster, shivering violently. She was too weak to find shelter. Then she heard Emma's voice. "Willow?" Willow wanted to move, to get up, but her body wouldn't listen. She whimpered softly. Then hands, warm, gentle hands, lifted her. "It's okay," Emma whispered, wrapping her in a thick blanket. "You're safe now." For the first time in months, Willow let herself believe it. Emma took Willow home. It wasn't easy. Willow had spent so long being afraid that she flinched at every sound, every movement. She huddled in the corner of the small, cozy living room, her eyes darting warily. But Emma was patient. She left food and water nearby, speaking softly, but never forcing her. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, Willow began to trust. She learned that Emma's touch was not something to fear, that the couch was soft and the bed even softer, that belly rubs were pure magic. But the nightmares didn't go away. Some nights, Willow woke up trembling, her heart racing. She would whimper, remembering the cold streets, the hunger, the fear. And every time, Emma was there, whispering, "You're safe, baby, I've got you." Months passed, and Willow transformed. Her ribs no longer showed. Her fur grew thick and shiny. Her tail wagged freely now, without hesitation. She learned to play again, chasing balls in the backyard, rolling in the grass, barking joyfully at the wind. And one day, Emma clipped on a leash and took her to the park. Willow stiffened at first, memories of being left behind flashing through her mind. But then she looked up at Emma, at the warmth in her eyes, at the love in her touch, and Willow knew she wasn't going anywhere. She had found her forever home. And this time, no one would ever leave her behind.